Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we have a shocking and emotional story to share with you about Austin Forsyth, Joy-Anna Duggar's husband, and an incredibly frightening experience he went through. What should have been a life-or-death situation turned into something much more controversial, because while Austin was fighting for his life, it seems that Bob Duggar was more concerned about his courtship rules than his son-in-law's well-being. In this video, we'll be delving into the details of Austin's near-death experience, the unexpected reactions of Bob Duggar, and how it all points to a much deeper issue within the Duggar family's dynamics. This is a story of faith, family, and control, so make sure to stick around to the end, because the details are more shocking than you might think. Austin Forsyth, a longtime family friend of the Duggars, became a part of the Duggar family when he married Joy-Anna Duggar in 2017. Austin quickly became a fan favorite for his down-to-earth nature and hard-working attitude, traits that seem to align perfectly with the Duggar family values. Together, Austin and Joy-Anna have built a beautiful family and shared much of their life with the world on the family's reality TV show, Counting On. But behind the scenes, Austin's life has been anything but easy. When it comes to the Duggars, there's always the looming presence of their strict courtship rules and expectations. And as we'll see, those rules would play a significant role in Austin's life-changing experience. It all started when Austin Forsyth was involved in a dangerous situation that almost cost him his life. On one fateful day, while working on a construction project, Austin was seriously injured in a near-fatal accident. His condition was critical, and it seemed like he might not make it through. Austin was rushed to the hospital, and doctors feared the worst. His family, including his wife, Joy-Anna, were left in a state of shock and disbelief, unsure of what would happen next. As the family waited anxiously for news, a question loomed in the air. How would Bob Duggar, the patriarch of the family, react to this crisis? Bob Duggar is known for his strict rules when it comes to relationships and courtships. From the very beginning, he set high expectations for how his children should behave in relationships, especially when it comes to their courtships. These rules have often been criticized by fans and outsiders for being overbearing and controlling. But in Austin's case, these rules took on a much darker dimension. As Austin fought for his life in the hospital, Bob, instead of focusing on his son-in-law's well-being, seemed to be more concerned with one thing: making sure that Austin adhered to Duggar family courtship guidelines. Reports surfaced that while Austin was in critical condition, Bob was far more focused on making sure Austin and Joy-Anna's courtship remained within the family-approved boundaries. Sources close to the family revealed that Bob expressed more concern about how their relationship was perceived and whether Austin's behavior was in line with his rules than about the actual physical danger Austin was facing. Fans were shocked when this information came to light. In such a critical moment, Bob's primary focus seemed to be on control rather than on compassion or support for his daughter and her husband. Bob Duggar's strict courtship guidelines have been a cornerstone of the Duggar family's beliefs and practices. These rules are meant to protect the children from the dangers of modern dating, emphasizing purity, modesty, and restraint. For the Duggars, courtship isn't about simply finding someone to date. It's a deeply spiritual and controlled process, one in which the parents are heavily involved. While these guidelines have worked for some, they've also led to criticism, especially when it seems like the children have very little say in their own romantic lives. And Austin's experience serves as a stark reminder of how these rules can sometimes overshadow more pressing matters, like someone's health and safety. In Austin's case, he had to navigate this tightrope of family expectations while facing life-threatening injuries. Sources close to the situation reported that Bob's concerns weren't just about Austin's recovery. He reportedly insisted that everything, down to the way Austin interacted with Joy-Anna during this crisis, was in accordance with his courtship rules. While Austin was in the hospital fighting for his life, the emotional toll on Joy-Anna was immense. As any wife would be, she was terrified for her husband's survival. But what made the situation even harder was the weight of the Duggar family's expectations bearing down on her, especially from her father, Bob. Joy-Anna had to balance her grief and fear with her loyalty to her father and the rules he had set for her and Austin's courtship. This struggle between her own emotions and the pressure of the Duggar family standards would prove to be one of the hardest challenges of her life. Fans who followed the couple's journey on Counting On were heartbroken to see how Austin's crisis was compounded by the overwhelming influence of Jim Bob's rules. Instead of rallying behind his daughter and son-in-law, Jim Bob's actions seemed to focus more on the appearance of things rather than the reality of the situation. The Duggar family has long been a symbol of traditional values, with Jim Bob at the helm as a father figure who makes all the major decisions. But it's becoming increasingly clear that his level of control over his children's lives, especially when it comes to their relationships, is starting to have a significant impact on the family's dynamics. While many of the Duggar children have followed the rules set by Jim Bob, others are beginning to push back against the rigid expectations. Austin's experience with his near-death incident and the subsequent events may be a turning point for the Duggar family, especially in how they approach relationships and the role of control in their lives. Was Jim Bob's intense focus on courtship and rules during such a critical time detrimental to his family? And how does this affect his relationship with Austin and Joy-Anna moving forward? The answers may lie in how the Duggar family chooses to move forward from this crisis. Fans of the Duggar family have had mixed reactions to the way Jim Bob handled this situation. Some are disappointed by what they see as a lack of empathy from the patriarch, while others defend his actions as being in line with his beliefs. The response from critics, however, has been more vocal, with many pointing out how Jim Bob's rules have crossed a line, especially in such an extreme circumstance. One fan wrote, "It's heartbreaking to see a father focus more on his rules than his child's health. Jim Bob needs to rethink his priorities." Another fan added, "Austin's life was on the line, and instead of being there for him, Jim Bob was only concerned with whether or not they followed his strict guidelines." As for Austin and Joy-Anna, they are doing their best to move forward, despite the challenges they faced. While Austin's recovery continues, they are learning how to navigate their relationship with Jim Bob and the Duggar family moving forward. It's unclear how things will evolve, but one thing is certain: this event has forced the family to confront the deeper issues within their belief system and how it affects their loved ones. Will Austin and Joy-Anna find a way to break free from the tight grip of the Duggar rules? Will Jim Bob come to terms with his controlling ways? Only time will tell. Thank you for joining us as we explored this heartbreaking and eye-opening story. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Jim Bob went too far in his reaction to Austin's near-death experience? And how do you feel about the impact of the Duggar family's courtship rules? Don't forget to subscribe for more updates on the Duggar family and other reality TV stories. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel USA Jim 24. Thank you for watching.